he's a flamethrower. He can throw up to 97 miles per hour. His biggest struggle really on the season is his control. He has 24 walks in 23 2/3 innings pitched, but actually pitched pretty well against Illinois State. He got the start in that game in normal, went 4 innings, no walks, which was big, 5 strikeouts, and allowed just 2 hits and 1 run.
The flamethrower's first pitch is off, and it'll be a foul ball. This flamethrower, you mentioned his heat. That's definitely an important aspect of his game. Do you tend to see him relying on that fastball early or trying to mix up and throw off these Redbirds?
You're going to see a lot of fastballs most likely. He throws very hard, but it's controlling that's the key. It's a nice changeup there, though. Cheng's in a hole 0-2.
Cheng, the shortstop, sophomore for the Redbirds. They've got 4 sophomores in their starting lineup today. This season batting .280. Third pitch is away and low and left. 1-2 count. And that one's pops right over to Hayden, and he'll flip it over to his man at first base to secure the first out of the day for the Indiana Hoosiers.
Nice play by Hayden. It's never easy being a pitcher and have to play some defense, especially on the first batter of the game. Hayden handled that like a pro.
He's a freshman that doesn't certainly look like a freshman. Veteran play there by Hayden. Next up to bat for the Redbirds is Ryan Cermak. This is certainly a man to watch all day long if you're Indiana.
He is electric.
That one's bounced into foul territory. I mean, you talk about electric. He leads the team in batting average, runs, hits, walks, home runs. I mean, this guy was first team preseason all-conference for a reason, and he was first team all-conference last season as well. That pitch is away, and
it's kind of an interesting spot, too, for Cermak. He's in a lineup for Illinois State that's really struggled on the season, and he kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. And you would think that, you know, opponents would really try to be especially careful, maybe even, you know, get a lot more walks because most of the other batters on Illinois State have struggled, but he's still hitting really well regardless.
2-2 count there.
Illinois State team that offensively is second worst in the Missouri Valley Conference, hitting just .256 on the season and averaging just over 5 runs a game.
Pitches away and hit once again into foul territory. I mean, you said it, Griffin. This is a team that in the past has been great under their head coach. I mean, one of 3 teams in a smaller conference that's made the top 25 in the last 2 or 3 years. But this year, batting seems to be their biggest issue and haven't been able to find that reliable depth as that ball's popped up into foul territory and into the parking lot.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of reliable bats and a lot of transfers on this Illinois State Redbird squad. Over half, in fact, of their players have transferred. So there's some experience, but it's a lot of guys that haven't been in normal very long.
That pitch outside, 3-2 count. I mean, losing 4 starters can never be easy, and both of these teams have had to deal with that this year as that ball's beamed over the third baseline and out of play. Stay at a 3-2 count. Still stays at a 3-2 count. Hayden looking to get the second out of the day and get some swinging. Luke Hayden off to a fantastic start early as the freshman puts 2 up and 2 down.
Talk about using that breaking ball, Joe. You saw it there, and you're expecting fastball. The scouting report, they know he throws a lot of fastballs. When he can effectively throw that breaking ball, that's where Hayden becomes a really strong pitcher. And remember, he's only a true freshman. He's going to develop a lot more with time. That's part of the reason Jeff Mercer has used him on midweek games a lot this season.
And that ball's batted out into foul territory. Up to bat now, number 27, Jake McCall, the first baseman. He was the other player on this Redbirds roster that was also a preseason first-team All-Conference. And that one's hit past Dones, lays out for it, but the Superman isn't enough. And the Redbirds able to take their first base of the day with a beautiful hit there.
That was hit on a rope by McCaw. Well, mustache, too. He's got a nice mustache going on, and maybe that helped with that hit. Dones had a good effort, but a little bit too fast for even the redshirt senior to snare it.
Now up for the Redbirds is number 15, Connor Olson, the right fielder. As Hayden tries to keep him honest on first base. That ball's hit over shortstop Glasser, who picks it up and tags it out at second. The Hoosiers off to a strong start on defense as they go 4 up and 3 down. You're listening to Big Ten Baseball on BTN+. Don't go anywhere. I mean, he has been stellar on both sides of the field so far this year for Indiana. That first pitch is away and outside, 1-0.
Certainly been the Hoosiers' leader at the top of the order, and he's the leader in the clubhouse as well for Indiana, and a big reason IU's offense has had so much success.
That ball inside, 2-0 count. Starting on the mound today for the Redbirds is Ryan Weaver. And that ball is beamed over to second base, but it's scooped up and he's thrown out. Nice defense there from the Redbirds.
He hasn't pitched all the way back since the beginning of April. That was against Western Illinois. Also pitched against Purdue. Hunter Jesse takes the first pitch strike. Hasn't been super sharp either time out. And just those 3 1/3 total innings pitched, he's allowed 4 runs. Struggled with his command as well, 6 walks. But do you think at the end of the season, last midweek game for Illinois State, that head coach Steve Holm wanting to give a true freshman some experience, and obviously going on the road and facing a Big Ten team is a big learning experience that can really grow you as a pitcher.
Pitches away, a 1-2 count. Hunter Jesse's liking what he's seeing. Jesse's been stellar this year for the Hoosiers. He's one of those guys that is critical to their offense. Highest on-base percentage for the team this season. And that ball's sent into foul territory.
I think it's a big use of these midweek games for all teams to get some of your younger guys in games that don't count to the conference standings and know they're going to be big-time contributors in the future.
And get some swing in there. What a throw. Hunter Jesse goes down. Hoosiers now with 2 outs.
Jeff Mercer has, I think, made more of an emphasis later in games to get some young guys in lately. We've seen Evan Goforth obviously starting today. Max Johnson has gotten more time, especially in midweeks for the Hoosiers. But obviously, as you said, you have 3 freshmen today, 4 in your starting lineup. You're just developing the guys that are already playing 40, 45 games in a season. And they'll be here for the long term.
1-1 count.
I think that's what can be exciting if you're an Indiana fan, is knowing that Matheson, Tibbetts, Pine, those guys are going to be sticking around probably for the long run.
I mean, you talk about
they've already had so much success this year.
Yeah, I think a big part of it is Coach Mercer, known for his recruiting. Rather than rebuilding after losing talent, he's just reloaded. And you see a nice hit there as it's roped over to second base and thrown. They're going to call him off the bag as McCall just couldn't get his foot down, and Indiana safe at first base. Now up for the Hoosiers is big hitter freshman number 3, Carter Matheson out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Chips that one into foul territory. 0-1 count. Second pitch is away and high. Talk a little bit about Matheson. This guy has definitely proven himself and gotten better as the years come along. And I think he's made a name for himself as one of the best big hitters in the Big Ten. Pitch is away and once again in foul territory.
No doubt. He's done a lot of his damage, too, in the last month or so. You look at his stats the first month of the season. You certainly couldn't imagine how far he's grown, but he's developed a lot more of his swing, protecting pitches on the inside of the plate where teams were attacking him early on, and has become, you're right, Joe, I think one of the best power hitters in the Big Ten. Those 16 home runs tied for third best. And you think next year, if he can start the season like he did towards the play like he has over the last month, he could be leading the Big Ten in home runs come next year.
Gets caught swinging there, looking for another big hit, and the Hoosiers go down. We're knotted 0-0 at the end of the first inning. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Big Ten Baseball on BTN+.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Production to bring him back into this game. Weaver's pitch is away and will be a ball, 1-0 count.
Jack Walker, the lefty, is now warming in the Indiana pen.
And Hunter Jesse just smacks that one out to right field, able to get a single and get the Hoosiers their first hit of the day.
See if that wakes up this Indiana offense. Hunter Jesse has been excellent all season long for the Hoosiers. Had 5 hits last weekend against the Golden Gophers and has the first today for Indiana.
Well, that's a positive sign for Mercer and the Hoosiers as they get their first hit there. That ball's low, 1-0.
I think for IU, it definitely is just some level of adjustment to facing Weaver, a guy you haven't seen before, no scouting report, as we said, and just doesn't throw very hard. Second, third time through the lineup.
That ball smacked out to center field. Can they track it down? Yes, a spectacular play there by Cermak, and you see why he's such an impact player for this Illinois State squad.
Good speed. Matheson has a bad experience with center fielders over the last couple days. He thought he had a game-tying home run against Minnesota on Sunday evening, and Brett Bateman, the Golden Gopher center fielder, made a leaping catch over the wall to take a home run back from Matheson. One of the more impressive plays I've seen all season here at Bart Kaufman Field. Would have been Matheson's 17th home run and the second on the day for him. Ended up being a really big play and that disappointing loss for the Hoosiers.
Now still 1 out, man on first. That ball's way too far to the inside. It's going to hit him, and he'll take a base.
First time IU has a runner in scoring position.
First pitch away, inside. They're going to call it a strike. 0-1 count. I mean, you talk about the series after this matchup for both of these teams. It's going to be big for both of them. I mean, you have Indiana that needs at least one game to make some noise in the Big Ten and try and get into that conference as the ball's hit into foul territory and can't be tracked down. And for Illinois State, I mean, they're sitting at the penultimate spot in the Missouri Valley Conference, but still has an opportunity to shake some things up, and especially playing the #1 seed in their conference.
Yeah, both teams' last series of the regular season is obviously always a big one, and plenty to play for on both sides. This game's kind of really all about building momentum to that weekend series and that quick turnaround.
Tibbetts with an 0-2 count, trying to dig himself out of the hole. 1-2.
Little rivalry series, too, for Illinois State, playing Southern Illinois. Those teams separated by only a couple hours.
That ball a little too outside. 2-2 count. Able to even it up. Tibbetts' last at-bat was a fly out in the second inning. This season just batting right under 300. As the pitch is away and smacks that one up to right field, trying to find the gap. He got 3 chasing it down, and he can't make the grab. The ball goes rolling, and Indiana gets bases loaded. Another error today for the Redbirds, as the sun just prevented them from making that catch.
Not easy with the sun in the air, into no man's land, and right off the glove of Connor Olson. Got a pretty late break on the ball. And I like some kid in the stand. He's keeping track of the stats. He knows Ellis has 16 home runs. He wants to see a 17th. We got a great crowd mic working today, too.
No opportunity to hit one there as that one goes into the dirt. A 1-0 count. Ellis watches that one all the way in. 1-1. We talked earlier about momentum, and in this situation in the game, this might be the most important momentum situation we've had all day long. That's going to be a ball. 2-1 count. With both teams have a huge opportunity here to either escape or thrive. You know, a lot of pressure. Weaver with the pitch. Ellis hits it into foul territory. Now a 2-2 count. You know what the fans here want to see, but the Redbirds defense has been stout all day long, making things difficult for Indiana. As that one's high and inside. 3-2, a full count with bases loaded. Only just one out for Indiana with their designated hitter at the plate. Weaver with the pitch. Ellis cranks that one, and it's veering a little bit left. And it'll go into foul territory. Pitches away. Ellis chops it over to first base. They're able to get one out, but Indiana still able to get their first run on the board. It's Hunter Jesse that's able to run it in. First pitch away and outside. Griffin, we got another pitcher. Galliano, tell me what you know about him.
Another true freshman lefty. A lot more experience, though, than Weaver. 6.06 ERA on the season in 11 appearances. 16 in the third innings pitched.
Pitches away and outside. 2-0 count.
Big spot, obviously, with 2 on and 2 out. He was one of the 3 pitchers Illinois State used against Indiana back on April 27th in Normal, and pitched very well. 4 innings, allowed 4 hits, just 1 run, 5 strikeouts, and 1 walk. So already effective against the Hoosiers this year, trying for more of the same.
Pitches away, and Dones finds himself in a great spot. 3-0 count. Griffin, do you like the change here from Coach at this stage in the game?
Yeah, I think you saw the Hoosiers starting to adjust to Weaver, and Weaver was struggling a little bit more with his control as well. So you imagine stamina was an issue, and this is a big opportunity here for Illinois State to get out of the inning without too much damage if they can get one more out.
Now in a 3-1 count after the strike there. Pitches away and low. Once again, bases loaded for the Hoosiers as Dones makes his way over to first base. He's 0 for 1 on the day, a strikeout in the third. He has a good eye there. That ball's outside, 1-0 count. Pardon me.
Goforth had his first career hit against Illinois State. This would be one of his biggest hits of his young career if he could come through here with the bases loaded.
Dead center, but he doesn't like it. 1-1 count. Pitches low once again, 2-1. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Indiana still down by 2. And Illinois State winning the hitting battle 7-1 so far today. It's those 2 errors that have really gotten them in trouble. And that ball's hit over, tries to get past the shortstop, and he's not able to make a decision in time, which allows the Hoosiers and Carter Matheson to add another run today. 3-2, Illinois State leads, and Indiana continues to have bases loaded. But Chang makes the right call there and a nice play on defense. 1-0 count, second one's away, and also a ball, 2-0 count. Up to bat is Peter Cerruto, the senior catcher for Indiana.
Gagliardo's struggling with his control, and I think that's why Artie Spees is going to come on out and have a word with him. First 3 batters, he's fallen behind. Gagliardo's control struggles.
The pitch is away, and maybe he should have swung at that one. Nice adjustment there. And it's a 2-1 count. At his first appearance, Cerruto was hit by a pitch, able to advance. And that one's hit over to second base. They sling it over to first and able to get the out and close out the 4th inning. We've got an exciting one on our hands as Illinois State leads 3-2. Don't go anywhere because you're watching baseball on Big Ten Plus. And welcome back into the top of the 5th inning. Hoosiers trail 3-2. Luke Chang up to bat for the Redbirds. And up to pitch for the Hoosiers is Jack Walker. Griffin, we got another pitching change. Tell me what you know about the guy.
Lanky lefty, 6'6", you can see the height. Guy who hasn't had a whole lot of experience so far this year for Indiana, redshirt sophomore, making his 8th appearance of the year, but he has pitched against Illinois State already this season. Had 3 innings pitched in relief against the Redbirds, allowed 4 hits but no runs, struck out 5 and 1 walk. Hasn't had a lot of time on the mound, but he's actually been pretty effective. Gotten some time in some midweek games for IU.
And that ball's hit past Dones. He couldn't get there in time as the ball rolls out to right field, and the Redbirds tack on their 8th hit of the day.
5.4 ERA for Walker. 16 2/3. Opponents hitting just .217 against the lanky lefty.
The lanky lefty, I like that. I hadn't heard that so far this year. Ryan Cermak back up to bat. He's 0 for 2 on the day. A little bit uncharacteristic for him, as they keep him honest on first base.
Already a hit in every inning so far today for Illinois State. It's been a confident, relentless approach by the Redbirds.
Pitch is away and way too high. Ceruto able to reel it in. I mean, you talk about having a hit in every inning for the Redbirds. I think a large part of that is credited to their back half of the lineup.
No, we said it. They've been huge for a 5 through 9. That's been kind of just a Russian roulette of guys that have really struggled for head coach Steve Holm. And as a team, they've gone 11 straight games entering today, scoring 5 runs or less. But certainly on pace today to maybe hit that 6 mark for the first time in 3 weeks.
And I think Illinois State would like to get another run on the board just due to their history. They're 2-18 when scoring 3 runs or less. Obviously, they're a better team when those bats are rolling than they have today with 8 hits. And another ball inside, 3-0 count. Last inning, we saw Illinois State struggling with getting behind the count early, and this top of the inning seems to be the same story for Indiana. And he'll walk him.
It's been a problem for Walker, 15 walks in 16 2/3. As for so many pitchers in the Indiana pen, control can be vital, especially, and there's a lot of young guys. I think especially for the young guys for IU, that is more of a problem, as you see Nathan Stahl at least thinking about maybe getting loose and warming up for Indiana, the righty. It's a tough start for Walker. You give up the leadoff base hit, and now the walk to Cermak, and Illinois State is in business for more damage here in the top of the 5th. Now the best mustache here in all of Bloomington today, I think, is to the plate. It's a thing of beauty.
You big mustache guy, Griffin?
I wouldn't grow one myself, but I appreciate it on another man.
Yeah, you can definitely
Take a
see
look
it
at
there.
that.
I feel like baseball is more of a beard sport almost. But I like the mustache. I think it's trendy.
Hunter Jesse's gone with a mustache at times this season as well for IU, but I mean, you can't beat that of McCaw. That is well grown out, well groomed. He's doing it right.
Ball went a little too high, almost hit the mustache there.
Having a mustache takes a lot of work, too, a lot of prep to maintain it, keep it looking good. I mean, you have to groom that thing every morning. It is interesting in the minimal investigative reporting I'm doing by looking up at the Jumbotron, his photo before the season. He had a very different look going on. As Walker's behind 3-0 now. He almost had kind of a mustache and kind of a minimal mustache, as to say, in the full-on beard growing, but kind of a little bit lighter. His almost hair colors seem to change too. I don't know how he did that. He's almost got a kind of a red-orangey fuzz on his portrait, but the beard looks to be kind of a normal brown shade. Do you think he dyed his beard?
I'm not sure. I think you'd have to do some more in-depth investigative journalism.
This is the important stuff we do at the IU Media School, folks.
As the bases are now loaded, as we've been talking about mustaches, Illinois State has mans on every bag. And Connor Olson up to bat for the Redbirds.
Jack Walker just can't find the strike zone right now, and I can't imagine Illinois State's going to swing until they see a strike. IU still does not have anyone throwing in the pen, so this is Jack Walker's game right now, and as we've talked about, 7 games in 9 days for both these teams, especially for Indiana, a huge weekend series coming up. They don't want to burn guys that they need this weekend in Iowa City. So they might leave someone out to dry here, even if Jack Walker can't find his stuff.
Pitches away and low, 1-1 count. I mean, Griffin, if you get to a point towards the end of the game where you don't really feel comfortable with the guy you got in there, is there any part of you that wants to consider throwing in someone that would be towards the top of your bullpen lineup and, you know, potentially risking losing some arm? As that ball's chopped over to first base and fouled out.
You have to set your priorities, and obviously you always say, I want to win the next game. And when I asked Jeff Mercer after Sunday what his plan was for Tuesday, he said, well, honestly, I don't even know. I haven't thought about it. But even if you say, yeah, I'm going in, obviously, with the goal to win the game, and that's always the goal, you have to take into large account how much this game matters compared to how much this weekend matters and how short the turnaround is.
And a beautiful pitch there. Catches him swinging. He got nothing but air on that one. It's the first out of the 5th inning. Base is still loaded. I mean, that's important to get yourself out of a really bad situation. Bases loaded, no outs. Wasn't able to find his rhythm, but maybe he's starting to heat up a little bit with his back against the wall.
That's a big out for Walker. Kind of get that monkey off the back. First out. See if he settles in more.
That ball's way too high, 1-0 count. Greg Nichols has been hot so far today, 2 for 2. Everything's been going well for him offensively. Tips that one off.
First year at Illinois State, spent last year at Sacramento City Community College in California, which has a great program, native of Roseville, just outside of Sacramento. Having one of his better days of the season so far.
Pitches away and outside. Ceruto tried to frame it nicely, but didn't get the call. 2-1 count.
Something about being tall. It's just a little bit harder to command your pitches. IU fans remember McCade Brown from last year. Obviously an excellent pitcher, but he had command problems too.
That ball's popped up to left field. Matheson trying to make the play, and he will. He's got to throw it in to try and prevent any movement, and he does.
Good job by Matheson. You want to come in on the ball and bring your forward momentum after you make the catch into the throw. He executed it perfectly, and even though Cheng has good speed at third, he likely would have been out by a mile as long as the throw was accurate by Matheson. A chance here for Walker after loading the bases with nobody out to get out of the inning without damage. How big would that be?
I'm sure him and all Indiana faithful would like to see those Ducks stay in the pond and not come home, try and keep this game tight. Right now, 2 outs. Bases still loaded. Walker's pitch is away and outside. Ceruto very careful on that last one to make sure the ball did not get away from him. That's the last thing you'd want in this situation. It's been an issue all day and all season for Indiana. That ball's cracked into center field. Bobby Whalen trying to track it down, but can't get there in time. Runners are flying home, and they'll score 2 of them. What a hit there from the Redbirds, and Bobby Whalen, we've seen him make some spectacular plays all season long, but just couldn't get there quick enough. And that puts 2 more runs on the board for Illinois State.
Didn't get a good read on that ball. Maybe the sun kind of lost it, and Whalen looked rather disappointed in center field after that ball ran in front of them. He kind of held up at the last moment, realizing he wouldn't get there. But what a game so far for Guile. A double and a base hit. He's already got 3 RBIs, and these Redbirds just keep on swinging away. 3 straight innings with a run, and after IU scoring 2 runs in the bottom of the 4th, Illinois State extends that lead right back out to 3 with 2 of their own here in the top of the 5th.
Yeah, just when it looks like Indiana's about to escape and get themselves back into a good position, and that ball just drops a little bit faster than you'd like. As that ball is popped up, you got 3 guys tracking it down. It might be Dones, and it's not. It's going to be Jesse reeling it in and closing out the top of the 5th. Redbirds extend that lead back up to 3 as they lead 5-2. You're watching baseball on Big Ten Plus. Welcome back into the bottom of the 5th inning. Redbirds extend that lead back up to 3 with a 5-2 lead. Bobby Whalen at the plate. First pitch down the center, 0-1. Galliardo still throwing for the Redbirds. That one's high, 1-1. Whalen 0 for 2 on the day. Last time at the plate, had a ground out. That turned into a double play. That one's too far inside, 2-1 count. Pitch is off and away, and Whalen smacks it over to Chang. And he's thrown out. Try and make something happen. He had a single at his last at-bat as that pitch is away. And it'll be a strike, 0-1 count. Jesse just one of the 2 hits today for Indiana.
We were talking, Joe, before the broadcast, how these 2 teams have followed a somewhat similar trajectory. Had both of these 2 coaches hired before the 2019 season. Had great years that year. Both won conference titles. Illinois State won a share. By the way, Jesse, you can see he's got a good mustache as well. I know everyone at home's heard enough about mustaches, but ISU won a share of the MVC title. Hoosiers won the Big Ten outright. And then they played each other, and the first game of the Louisville Regional was a 8-7 win for Illinois State, I should say. And Redbirds beat Louisville the next day, and then were 1 win away from making it to the Super Regionals and ended up dropping both games against Louisville.
Hunter Jesse with a nice base hit there. It was Nichols trying to come over from second and make a play, but it's not enough as that ball rolls right past him, and Jesse gets his 2nd hit of the day. You see the replay right there. Thinks he has a nice slide and scoop, but just not right placement there for him.
The teams with losing records so far this season both have 27 losses apiece on the season.
And I think for Indiana, it's more about you lost a lot of guys, and you've got younger ones coming in as the first pitch is away, and it'll be a ball. I think for Indiana, it's really just about trying to develop these younger guys, and obviously you'd like to see them be over 500. It's a little bit under their expectation for the year, but you've seen great production out of these younger talent.
Illinois State's really used the transfer portal. That's what stands out about their last couple seasons, is that 2019 team was very experienced, and so you lost a lot of guys, and Steve Holm has used the transfer portal early and often. 21 of the 40 current Illinois State players from the portal. There aren't too many guys left from that 2019 Illinois State team that are still on the Redbirds. And for IU, it's pretty similar. There's only a handful of guys left from that 2019 Big Ten champion team.
Yeah, both of these coach big recruiters as the Hoosiers try and steal, and they'll get it. That's the 70th attempt of a stolen base against this Illinois State defense, and the 68th successful one. That seems to be the only hole in their defense so far this season.
A stolen base on the year for Jesse.
You see it there, just not able to hold on to the baseball, and that'll cost them. Able to move into scoring position. That ball's chopped down. 1-2 count.
Transfer portal so interesting these days that you can retool a team using that way instead of necessarily having to wait for new players to develop, and kind of what you said about reloading instead of rebuilding. You want to stay on IU's campus. You look at IU women's basketball team, you think going into next year they're going to be really young, and then Terry Moran hit the transfer portal and got one of the best players in the Big Ten, Sarah Scalia from Minnesota, and got a couple other really good players out of the portal too, and it's like, well, they could be just as good as they were last season.
I mean, you said it. This new transfer portal, the new rules and regulations, it's never been so easy to pack up your bags and start playing somewhere else the next day. As that pitch is away and fouled out, remains at a 2-2 count.
I do have a bunch of guys on Illinois State that have, played in even 2-3 different places. Gone to a couple junior colleges. You have Nick Geil, who was at Madison College up in Wisconsin, then at Creighton, and now he's second year at Illinois State. So transfer portal really allows you a lot of freedom as a player to find the right fit. It allows a lot of freedom for managers to go out every offseason and find the players that fit the program. Philip Glasser is certainly one of them. 3 years at Youngstown State, had a lot of success with the Penguins. And then you want to take a step up and join the Big Ten, and he's found that here with Jeff Mercer in Bloomington.
We've got a full count on our hands, 3-2. And Griffin, do you think there's a certain type of advantage, whether you're going with building a team through younger guys with freshmen that recruiting them through high school, or do you think it's more valuable to guys that already have that college experience?
I don't think there's a correct answer to that.
As that ball is hit into right field, and the Hoosiers are sending them home. They'll tack on another run. The offense now is starting to become the story of today, as the Hoosiers get a base hit and get another run on the board, 5-3.
Glasser. We have a couple kids in attendance who are very excited today. I'm loving the passion.
Very passionate. I think you said it, Griffin. But they seem like they know their stuff. I mean, we might need to get them on sideline later today. Get some interviews.
We do need a sideline reporter. I don't know if they want to take over. Test out their media skills right now.
On that last at-bat, Glasser was able to get his first hit of the day. Now Matheson looking to do the same. And he just tosses it right to the pitcher. Wow. What a double play. I hope we can get a replay of that, because I want to see that again. That was an unreal fielding job by Galliardo, able to sling it to second base and turn two. Caden Beauregard up to bat for the Redbirds and smacks that one out of play. Both offenses are starting to heat up a little bit, as we've seen majority of these runs towards the latter part. And that ball's hit over to right field, both trying to go for it, and splits the defenders Beautiful ball placement on that hit right there. Beauregard able to get his second hit of the day in 3 at-bats.
Bottom of the lineup keeps on producing for the Redbirds. Beauregard came in with only 6 hits on the season. He has added 2 more to that already today. So up to 8 2-base hits. Yeah, it's really been 1 through 9, a complete showing by Illinois State. 10 hits on the board and trying to hit that 6-run total that they haven't hit in 12 games.
Crowd's starting to get more into it.
Just really 2 kids. A lot of families in attendance today. A midweek game, get off school. It's a nice little after homework activity. 6 o'clock, perfect start time. That's right around when you finish your homework, I think.
That's when you finish your homework, Griffin?
In elementary school, maybe.
It took me longer. 2-0 count right now. Walker's been able to hold his own so far, being at the mound. Last time out, we saw him get bases loaded and almost escape, but Bobby Wayland couldn't track down a ball in time as that ball's popped up into left field. Matheson tracking it down and reeling it in. And back to the top of the order for the Redbirds, it's Luke Chang. Chang's been one of those guys where it's mostly been bottom of the order for Illinois State that stepped up, but Chang has been producing all day long. 2 for 3 on the day, 2 runs, 1 RBI. The sophomore shortstop is showing what he can do offensively.
And he's not just a great baseball player, Joe, but he's also a great student. Talking about doing your homework, he's on a full ride scholarship at Illinois State, not for baseball, but for his academics. He's a presidential scholar and is a business major at Illinois State. It's the full package, star athlete, star student.
And I can tell you that that would be his major, because today he's been nothing but all business. Right now, 1-0 count. Make that a 2-0 count. Walker's pitch is getting a little high for him. Chang this season with 44 hits, batting just under 300. Now finds himself in a good position, 3-0 count with a man on first. Nice strike there from Walker. Pitches away, and Chang slides it right past the third baseman and gets another base hit. Make him 3 for 4 on the day. Seems like nothing you throw at him can throw him off.
Just been an impressive piece of hitting by Illinois State. They have been patient, they've been disciplined, haven't done too much with any pitches, and just keep on finding ways to get on base. 11 hits now on the day, and just feels like deja vu all over again. Another inning, and the Redbirds are threatening, and their best hitter comes to the plate.
Their best hitter, but today Cermak has not been able to do much as he chops one right over to third base, and the Hoosiers can't get it figured out. 2 guys going after it, bobbled. That'll most likely go down as an error.
I think that'll be a hit. That's a tough play to make. I think if Goforth is able to get there in time, you might have an out, but once that gets past Goforth, probably nothing Glasser could have done but ate that ball anyways. Once again, Walker's going to have to try to get out of a bases-loaded jam.
This time he at least has the cushion of 1 out in his back pocket before the bases turn to loaded.
They did give that a base hit to Cermak.
Yeah. That's his first hit of the day, and that pitch is wild and loose. Hoosiers able to recover. Scary moment there for Indiana, as they could have let up another run. One 0 count, bases loaded. Illinois State has been dominating today offensively, winning the hit battle 12-4 so far. Strike thrown there, 1-1 count. Walker with the pitch inside, and it's free once again. And there's nothing they can do this time. 2 wild pitches at the same at-bat. The second time, Sorrento just couldn't get to it. And the Hoosiers give up another run. I mean, pitching seems to be the biggest struggle for this Indiana team today. And I mean, against a Redbirds team that hasn't been batting well all year, especially the back half of their lineup, they've been eaten all day long. You see here that pitch just too low and in the dirt, has an awkward bounce and just flies up. Able to make it easy for the runner from third base to just glide in.
A lot of energy in the Illinois State dugout right now. That pitch was fouled off. Helps when you've got a pitcher that struggled with his command. IU just has not been able to, as you said, Joe, have a lot of success with anyone that they've thrown out there outside of Luke Hayden in terms of having good command and looking real comfortable on the mound. It's been a tough day for Ceruto as well beyond the plate.
That ball's tipped and fouled off. Remains at a 3-2 count.
Illinois State, 6 runs. That's the first time in 12 games the Redbirds have scored at least 6 runs. To go all the way back to mid-April.
That ball's chopped over to third base. He slings it over to first, but not in time. A nice play by Goforth, but not fast enough. And the Redbirds tack on another one. Back-to-back 2-run innings. And we don't even have 2 outs yet.
It's almost like a bunt by McCaw, perfectly down the third base line. Goforth made as good of a play on the ball as possible, but McCaw able to run it out, and Illinois State continues to find ways to get runners across on the board and keep the line moving.
And you see Nathan Stahl there warming up in the bullpen. It might be Walker's time. He has certainly struggled so far today, and Hoosiers haven't been able to find anyone consistently that they've found success with.
Pinch hitter here, Joe. Aiden Huggins in for Connor Olson at this right field spot, the cleanup spot.
He shows bunt, and he takes the ball on the first pitch.
Talk about guys that were on that 2019 team. Huggins is one of the few guys that played in that Illinois State IU Louisville regional game back in 2019 as a redshirt senior. Had a great day, too, and that regional opener was 2 for 2 with an RBI. Now in his third and final season here at Illinois State. Fourth season, excuse me, at Illinois State.
Third pitch is away, and it goes right over to that second base. Dones tags the bag and throws it over to first to turn 2. Another double play sparked by Dones. And that'll close out the top of the 6th inning with the Redbirds able to add another 2 runs onto the board. Don't go anywhere. You're watching baseball on Big Ten Plus. Overall, Indiana holds the series history. Ooh, as that pitch goes high and outside, almost hits him in the head. Indiana holds the margin 4-3, so a victory today for Illinois State would tie up the series history.
New pitcher into the ball game, Joe. Colton Sherbinski.
That pitch is beamed out to left field, but it veers just too much as it goes over the wall. That'll be a foul. 1-1. Tell us what you know about this pitcher.
Richard Jr. We talk about some guys on this Illinois State team that have bounced around a couple places. Sherbinski is one of them. Was at Charlotte. It's a really excellent program. Won a Conference USA regular season title with them. And then Des Moines Area Community College. This season with Illinois State. He's been plenty busy. 25 1/3 innings pitched, to 7.46 ERA for Sherbinski. This is 23rd appearance. No one has pitched more out of the bullpen for Illinois State all year. So a guy with plenty of experience, likely won't go very long. Probably not more than an inning, though. For the Redbirds, but at this point, you're counting them down for Illinois State. 12 more outs to get a victory.
3-1 count as Tibbetts smacks that one into foul play. Tibbetts 0 for 2 on the day. His last at-bat reached on an error. He's been a solid hitter so far all this season. We've seen him make great plays today on defense, but still not able to get that bat hot yet. Smart call there as he'll take his base. Right now, just one man on first. First pitch away is a strike, a 1 count. Too far inside, a 1-1 count. Third pitch is away and sails on him. Hoosiers are going to be able to steal second. Tibbetts scampers his way over to the plate with ease.
Early wildness by Sherbinski, the walk, a wild pitch. Don't want to give too much help to a IU offense that, when it wakes up, can be quite a monster.
I mean, after a walk and a wild pitch like that, Tibbetts, I think, owes him a thank you card. As that pitch goes out of play and into the parking lot. 2-2 count. Once again, chips it off the top of the bat and sends it back into foul play. Remains 2-2.
Illinois State already knocked off Iowa, Illinois, and Purdue this season. 3 Big Ten teams they've beaten. If they beat IU, it would be the first time in program history that they've have defeated 4 different Big Ten opponents.
And another wild pitch. I'm telling you, Tibbetts has got to stop running the bases. Once he gets home, he's got to run to CVS, pick up a thank you card, give him a nice little message, hand deliver it to him. Full count. Ellis ropes it down the first base line, and it's fair play. He might try and turn 2, and he will. A 240-pound big man slides into second, and he's safe. Beautiful play there from the Hoosiers as Tibbetts is able to scamper his way in home, and Ellis makes a nice play at second base.
It's Nate Davis getting loose in the Illinois State pen. Oh, my.
Another wild pitch. Ellis takes third.
I don't know if Sherbinsky just needs some more rosin or what's going on. That's 3 times he's floated one over the catcher's head, though it's been a problem this year. He has 12 wild pitches on the season. It's really rearing its ugly head right now, though.
And most of those wild pitches coming in the same spot, high and left. You start to wonder if they're just slipping out, getting away from him. Pitches away. That one's low and right. A little bit of an overcorrection there, but it'll have the same result as a ball.
Well, it's a midweek game, and often you don't use all your top pitchers, and I think both teams have been a little bit exposed at times today with guys that are a little bit younger, don't have great command, and both sides have taken advantage, getting ahead in counts, and then balls are left over the center of the plate. And that can result to a lot of guys running around the base paths. Feels like the scoring is far from over, Joe.
Certainly, and Dones finds himself in a favorable position, 3-0 count. Watches that one all the way through, 3-1. I mean, you talk about these teams sacrificing, their top guys in the pen. I mean, Jared Hart is 15th in the NCAA in terms of ERA, and that's one of their go-to guys. You've also seen Colin Wyman this year ranks 3rd in ERA, as that ball is slammed out to right field, and it's saved at the warning track. Beautiful play there. I'm not sure if it was caught in the air.
It was, and Ellis is going to be doubled up.
Wow. First pitch away is a strike. Redbirds are looking for some more production at the mound right now. Hoosiers are starting to heat up a little bit, and they've tightened this gap once again, 7-2. They've scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 6th so far, and Goforth now sitting with a 1-1 count.
1 point of clarification, Joe. So Ellis actually tagged up on that fly out. He was not doubled up. So 1 out, and IU now has trimmed the lead to 2. Ellis tagging up on the loud fly out by Dones. Cermak made that nice sliding catch, but Ellis, smart decision to stay on the back and then score. Illinois State, they went over and checked at third to see if he left early. He did not.
And Goforth will strike out.
In just 6 innings pitched, so getting a little bit more time today before his season comes to a close. Transfer from University of Illinois Chicago, now with the Redbirds.
Right now finds himself in a 1-1 count. And it's interesting to see the height difference after having Walker out there. You have Nate Davis, a guy that's 5'9". It really makes you start to notice the difference in Walker's length, the lengthy lefty, as you like to call him. 1-2 count. Ceruto looking for his first hit of the day. That ball's low, 2-2. Pitches away and beamed out to center field. Both of them trying to track down There won't be a sliding catch this time. And he's able to turn it into a double. Great play there by Ceruto. I mean, if he had made another spectacular play like that in the same spot, that would have been on SportsCenter tomorrow morning. That pitch is wild, and the Hoosiers will advance to third base. That continues to be an issue today for both of these squads.
That's what happens when you have a lot of young pitchers. Catchers not used to catching them. Pitches going all over the place. No doubt about it, both teams have conserved a lot of their pitchers. This weekend series will be vital for both teams. Last regular season series for both Indiana and Illinois State. Both will, well, Illinois State guaranteed to play in their postseason tournament. IU hoping that they will be eligible, finish in the top 8 of the Big Ten, head to Omaha. Hoosiers sit tied for 6th right now in the Big Ten. Probably one win against Iowa would be enough. 2 would for sure clinch a spot in the Big Ten tournament. Even if the Hoosiers were swept, it's possible they could make it in, but obviously that's not the result they would like.
Whalen finds himself down 0-2.
IU too, they'll go for their 5th consecutive Big Ten series win this weekend against Iowa. They dropped their first 3 of the season, but have turned things around in the latter portion of the year.
1-2 count. Davis with the pitch. Too high, make it a 2-2. And Griffin, as you said, I think a large part of that goes to having a younger squad, having transfers on this team. It takes some time for them to develop and kind of mold together, and you start to see that progression towards the end of the year.
Absolutely.
Whalen still hitless on the day. Another foul ball.
IU had a very hard non-conference schedule as well. It was a lot of trial by fire for some of these young players, and even guys like Bobby Whalen didn't have much playing time last year. Now Whalen, Hoosiers top batter, only had a couple starts all of last season. He's not a frequent player in the lineup.
And that ball's cracked out to center field. Doesn't look like it has the distance, and Cermak will reel it in to close out a 2-run inning for Indiana, as we got a 7-5 ball game on our hands heading into the 7th. You're watching baseball on Big Ten Plus. Stahl trying to make a little bit of a difference here, checking in. A 1-3 record. First pitch away is a strike, 0-1 count.
9.89 ERA on the season, 16th appearance for Stahl, who's still recently coming back from injury. Was out for nearly a month. He's had 4 appearances since, and on Sunday ended up blowing the save for the Hoosiers, gave up a 2-run home run to Kyle Bork in the top of the 9th inning when IU had a 1-run lead.
With 2 strikes, a beautiful ball beamed over the second baseline and able to secure a base hit.
3-hit day for Greg Nichols.
I mean, you couldn't ask for anything else coming from Greg Nichols. I mean, he's just given constant offensive production all day long. Now up to bat is Nick Guile, who's also had himself a darn good day. 2 for 3, 2 RBIs, and 1 run. Nice pitch there from Stahl, a strike, 0-1 count. That ball's chipped and right back down, 0-2 count. Pitch is away and low and outside. 1-2 count. To take a look at Nick Geil, he's a guy that's batting .285 so far this season with 51 hits, 8 home runs. Third most home runs on this team for the Redbirds as he takes the ball there, 2-2.
Could be the third Redbird to have 3 hits on the day. Getting a double and a single. It's bottom of the lineup. We've talked about it all day, but get the bottom of the lineup to produce really helps out the offense, and it has for Illinois State. 9 runs, 14 hits.
That ball goes over to third base. It's in fair play, and they're going to call him safe.
That was an exceptional throw, though, by Evan Goforth. He was behind the third base bag. That was on the money to Tibbetts, just not in time. That was going to be a really hard play to make, but that raw arm power from Evan Goforth, he showed it off there. But nonetheless, Geil has his 3rd hit of the day.
I mean, it's the next man up when they sub out Josh Pine for Goforth. He's showing that he can produce as well. I mean, an absolute cannon lasered over behind the third base, as you were saying, but just a little too far off, and Tibbetts falls off the bag and not able to get the out. Freshman DH, Gauthier, now back up to bat for Illinois State. He's been 0 for 3 on the day. Stahl with the pitch. Nice play there. He's looking to turn 2. Once again, falls off the bag. A tough play there for Indiana, but they're able to get the out at third and prevent another man going into scoring position.
Goforth rushed that throw a little bit. He didn't need to hurry, and it was just wide of the bag. And Tibbetts tried to use all of his 6'4" frame to keep his foot on the bag as the ball came in, but could not. But you still get that force out, so it's not an awful result for Indiana.
And Griffin, do you think in your mind it would have been a smarter play there to try and hit Dones at second base rather than trying to go first?
With Geil going on the swing, I don't think you would have had enough time.
That pitch is away and right by the numbers, excuse me, 0-1 count. High and inside, 1-1 count. Man on first and second, 1 out. Stahl thinks about going back to second, but he'll hold on to it. That ball's cracked up and flipped over to Dones, who thinks about making a double play but can't do it in time. They'll still get the force out at second base. Now a runner on first and third with 2 outs. That'll bring up JT Sokolov. 1 for 3 on the day.
Hasn't been a 0 put up since the bottom of the 3rd inning. There have been 6 consecutive half innings with at least 1 run by every team, but Indiana's an out away from potentially finally putting up a 0.
And Stahl gets him swinging. He was reaching for that one like it was the bottom of the cookie jar. 0-1 count. Chops that one up. Dones picks it up and forces them out. Indiana able to put the first 0 on the board for the first time in a while. And they still are trying to close that gap as they trail 7-5. We'll be right back for the bottom of the 7th. You're watching baseball on Big Ten Plus. As Illinois State has had the bats hot all day long, 15 hits. And Hunter, Jesse, and the Hoosiers now trying to make something happen and take their first lead of the day. Cameron Maybe in for the Redbirds at the mound. That pitch high and outside, 1-1 count. Third pitch, strike, 1-2.
Maybe one of the better guys out of the pen for the Redbirds. 15th appearance of the year, 3.43 ERA, 29 and a third.
Fourth pitch away and cracked by Jesse over to third base and thrown out at first. Griffin, as we approach the latter stage of this game, do you think...
On Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. Always an exciting time as we reach the tournaments. All start next week, and then Selection Monday is about 10 days away. 2 weeks from yesterday, 13 days, I guess.
Catches him swinging there. Counting the days makes me feel like I'm getting ready for Christmas, Griffin. That time of the year.
Well, it is. Memorial Day is Christmas, certainly for college baseball fans. Get the 64-team bracket revealed.
1-1 count, and that one's roped down the third baseline in foul play.
Only way, though, either of these teams would hear their name called is if they won their conference tournament. But that's the beauty of so many of these college sports, is that you get a conference tournament, and that gets you the at-large bid. And as long as you can get into it, anyone has a shot.
You never know. I mean, Indiana basketball, pardon me, saw some help from their conference tournament this year. Able to punch their ticket into that 64-team bracket.
Well, they were lucky it was 68 teams and not 64 teams. They wouldn't have made it in 64 teams.
2-2 count.
There's no first four in baseball.
And cracks that one past the second baseline and out. Hoosiers able to take a base.
Two-hit day for Glasser, and he has not missed a beat since coming back. Had a finger injury that was bothering for most of the last month. Finally.
We see the lights starting to come on here at Bart Kaufman Field. Is this, 6 p.m. game is turning into a 9 p.m.? Nothing like baseball under the lights in 80-degree weather in Indiana. Carter Matheson, 0 for 2 on the day. 1-0 count right now. His last at-bat was a ground-out double play in the 5th. Pitches away, and the Hoosiers send him to steal. He's going to be safe. That's the Hoosiers' 3rd stolen base on the day.
Glasser's
4th. Excuse me, they've had a lot of stolen bases. I mean, that was one of the holes that we talked about in regards to this Illinois State team.
Glasser's 4th stolen base of the season. You certainly check that out in the scouting report. Redbirds have used a couple different catchers this season. IU's always an aggressive team. Every run counts right now.
Matheson gets caught swinging on that one, 2-1 count. Still just 1 out. I want to go down as a strike. 2-2 evens it up. That one tipped out of play, foul ball. Stands at a 2-2. That one's a high one, 3-2, full count. Maybe only 5 walks and 16 strikeouts on the year. He's one of the more reliable pitchers we've seen in the Redbird rotation. But that one is slammed up. It might have the distance, but Redbirds tracking it down and well short. Certainly had the height on that one, Griffin.
Yeah, Matheson way underneath that one.
The tying run on second.
In the Minnesota series, both in 2 of the 3 games, IU came from behind to take leads in the 8th inning. So this game is certainly still far from over. Hoosiers have, of late, played very well in close games. Been some multiple comebacks for Indiana, something the Hoosiers were not doing at all early in the season. Hoosiers really struggled in close games, but Jeff Mercer's talked about developing their DNA and maturity. IU's going to have to come from behind today if they want to leave Bart Kaufman this season with a win.
Pitch there low, 2-1 count. And fouled off. 2-2. Two count with 2 outs, a man on second, and Indiana trails by 2 runs. Tibbetts, a reliable hitter for the Hoosiers. At the plate, still hitless today. Tipped off once again, foul ball. That'll bring us to a full count. Just gets a piece of it. He's making this pitcher work for it. one's going to be called foul. Maybe he's got a little bit more heat on these pitches compared to the other Redbirds we've seen today, throwing it, mid-90s. Still locked at a full count. Pitches away. That'll be a walk. Just his 6th walk of the year. Maybe with the pitch. High and outside. It's going to be a ball, 1-0 count.
Hoosiers have scored in 3 consecutive innings. Big reason has been much more disciplined plate approach. Trying to make it 4 innings in a row here in the 7th.
1-1 count, strike thrown there.
You wouldn't think it, but Ellis leads the Hoosiers with walks, 36 on the season.
Yeah, and that was a title that was held by Dones for a majority of this season. But as of late, Ellis has definitely stayed more disciplined, and I think a big part of that was his struggles batting. Gets nothing but air there. I think Ellis mid-season went on somewhat of a hitting slump, and now starting to get back into a groove. Batting .270.
His power numbers are down. He's only hit a few home runs over the last month or two, but it still feels like he comes up with the most timely hits for the Hoosiers. They could use one here.
Almost swings at that one, but it'll be called a ball. 2-2. 2 outs, man on first and second. Talk about timeliness. Now would be a big time for Ellis to come up with a big hit. A solid one there, but it won't do him very much good as Ellis is thrown out at first, closing off the second scoreless half inning that we've seen for the first time in a while. Redbirds lead 7-5. You're watching Big Ten Plus. First pitch from Platt is away, and it'll be a strike. A 1 count. Chang with a nice hit there, picked up by Goforth once again. A tough throw that just can't get to the bag. He's able to find 6'4" Tibbetts over there on first base time and time again, but not within reach to keep his foot on the bag.
Goforth made some freshman mistakes today. Obviously has the great arm, but just been a little bit wild over at first, and there's not much Brock Tibbetts can do when he's having to dance to his right, to his left, and didn't help with the speed of Chang. I'd imagine that'd be an E5. Chang has reached now for a 4th time today.
Pitches away and outside, 1-0 count.
Is an E5. First error today on Indiana.
And that pitch gets away from Ceruto, can't hold on to it. And Chang will advance to second base. Chang's having himself a night.
Cermak up. We've touched a couple times on his exploits this season. He did a pretty incredible thing back in April. He homered in 4 consecutive at-bats.
Wow. This kid definitely has some power, and there's a reason. You mentioned in the scouting report, he certainly has a target on his back, but that has not stopped him all season.
Was named National Player of the Week by almost all of the collegiate baseball outlets. He had 3 home runs against Western Illinois, and then a couple days later against Kansas, his first plate appearance. It's another home run. So had 4 home runs in 4 straight plate appearances. It's the kind of thing they don't keep in the record books, but it's hard to imagine too many players have ever done that before. It's really the complete player, too. We've seen the nice play in center. NBC Defensive Player of the Year last year. He's become a huge power hitter. Second in the MVC in slugging percentage. Has to be a candidate for their Conference Player of the Year.
Pitches away, brings it right over to Goforth, who tries again to Tibbetts, and this time is on the mark. Bullseye for Goforth.
That's got to feel good with a couple of wild throws by Goforth to finally convert. It's all about setting the feet, just taking it slowly. I think he's rushed a few too many over there, and it's hard at the hot corner because you do have limited time at third base, but as you see here, Goforth takes a little bit more time, sets his feet. You know he has the arm strength and gets Cermak by half a step.
Yeah, and I think you said it. It's more of a, it's a freshman mistake. It's one of those things where you haven't had a whole lot of playing time. You think that you need to just rocket it over there as quick as you can, but you see the cannon this young man has. He can set his feet and take a second to breathe before he launches that missile. 1 man on second, 0-1 count. Make that a 1-1 count. Jake McCall at the plate, 2 for 2 on the day. Batting .303 this season. Platt too far inside. 2-1 count. Pitches away and chopped into foul play. That'll stay at a 2-2 count. Ball's bounced over to second, swung over to Tibbetts, who makes the play at first. Nice job there by Glasser, able to get it over to his first baseman with ease. Able to advance a runner to third, but 2 outs as the Hoosiers are trying to get their second consecutive scoreless half inning.
Another pinch hitter here, Joe. Callan Conklin, freshman outfielder, who had a triple against IU back when these teams played in April.
And that one's thrown into the dirt there. Low and away, 1-0 count.
Both these coaches have done a good job getting a lot of youngsters in, often going to be their last plate appearances of the season. And then one last look at live pitching before you won't face it again for another 9 months or so. Really hurt a lot of teams across the country that last couple years had limited games. Big Ten didn't play any midweek games, so there was A lot less opportunity to get some of the young guys plate appearances, get the pitchers live at bats. Just makes a big difference than doing it in practice.
Nice hit there, but a better play by Dones, who slings it over to Tibbetts, and the Hoosiers get the force out to close out the top of the 8th. We're still knotted at 7-5. We got a barn burner on our hands. Don't go anywhere. You're watching baseball on Big Ten Plus. And out to pitch is Kubiakczyk. Kubitowski. Excuse me.
Kubitowicz. Third time's the charm. They got some tough ones on this Redbird squad. Eric Kubitowicz, redshirt sophomore of Oakdale, Minnesota.
And that one's popped into the stands. A souvenir for the fans to go home with. 1-1 count.
There's been no shortage of pitchers that we've seen. Both teams have gone to their bullpen early and often. Kubitowicz, this is his 23rd appearance of the season, one of the more frequently used guys out of the pen for the Redbirds. 4.15 ERA.
Another strike there, 1-2 count.
Has 41 strikeouts in 39 innings pitched. Redbirds pitching staff has been excellent all season long. Second in ERAs. Dones just barely fouled that off. Second in ERA in the MVC. They nearly made it to the College World Series last year. They were one game away. Lost in a super regional to Virginia. Indiana State, who made the NCAA tournament last year as well.
And great play there made in center field by Cermak. It's a tough guy to hit it to. He's been doing everything out there.
They always have so much talent in that DMV area. And of course, Maryland in the Big Ten. Recruiting in that same region as well. Top 20 team in the country. They're going to try to win the Big Ten this weekend. They're currently tied for first with Rutgers.
Swing and a miss there, 1-1 count.
Could even host a regional, which is very rare for Big Ten teams. IU did it in 2014. Michigan, or Minnesota, I should say, did it a few years ago, but it's not common to have a Big Ten team host a regional. I believe that would be the Terps' first time since they've entered the Big Ten. What a year they've had. Rutgers has had a great season as well. They'd be an out-large bid regardless of what happens in Omaha in a couple weeks.
And a lot of these teams you mentioned are in the lacrosse series right now, lacrosse playoffs in college.
Oh, Joe finding a way to bring lacrosse into the
I'm just saying,
broadcast.
Maryland
what a
versus Virginia.
Here.
They're playing on Sunday. You got Rutgers in there with a big win this past weekend. Regardless, full count right now. 1 out.
That's the interesting thing, though, about the Big Ten on the baseball side. You got Nebraska win the Big Ten last year. Now Rutgers or Maryland is going to win it. None of these teams were in the Big Ten just 10 years ago. It's the new blood infused into the Big Ten is really adding some talent for a conference that has been really looked down upon in terms of its baseball talent. In fact, IU has been one of the better Big Ten teams when you look the last 12 years. The Hoosiers lead the Big Ten in wins over the last 14 seasons.
And Goforth will take his base and trot his way over to first. Pine, one of those very talented freshmen, pinch hitting right now out of Bloomfield, Indiana. First pitch is high as the duck. So 1-0 count.
Enters with a 9-game hit streak. He's been on base in 38 of his last 39 games. He's been Mr. Consistency all year for Indiana. This is such a tough spot, though. Cold off the bench in a big spot in the 8th inning. But few things are more challenging in baseball.
But if you need a hit, you said it, this is one of the go-to guys. Second most hits on the team behind Wayland. And recently in that Minnesota series, and game 1 of that doubleheader had 2 hits and 3 runs.
He's come up clutch all season. You think of Friday night, he had the go-ahead base hit for IU in the 8th inning, take the lead over Minnesota, had a walk-off hit against Illinois a couple weekends back as well.
2-1 count. Pitches away and another ball. I mean, Pine is just one of those freshmen that just has such an impact on this team. He came in rated 14th overall prospect and number 2 shortstop in Indiana by perfect game. You just see the talent level that Mercer has when recruiting these young guys. Once again, pitch inside. He'll be able to take his base. They've put in a big hitter and get a base out of it.
You won't complain. You have your 8 and 9 batters reach, and now you flip it over to your top of your order. And Ellie's reach base now.
Yeah, he'll take a base on cue. Bags loaded, 1 out for Indiana as they're down by 2. His last at-bat was a ground out in the 7th. He'll try and bring some friends home. First pitch away is going to be a ball. Looking at Holcomb's release, it looks somewhat unconventional.
Yeah, sidearm release, and that can be a little bit more challenging to adjust to as a batter. You see a lot more left to right motion too. See that slider, that's a pretty pitch from Holcomb. And as well here, you know that Jesse is the lefty. You bring in the lefty Holcomb. You have Matheson as well, who's a lefty coming up in 2 batters. That slider that falls out of the zone, that's really tricky. It almost looks like it's going to hit you as a lefty, and then it can dance right across the strike zone.
2-1 count, 1 out, bags loaded. Another ball for him.
Just going to that slider, but hasn't been able to find the outside corner. I don't know where to put him. All 3 batters are on by way of walks or being hit.
And in danger of bringing one home with another ball. And that'll do it. Hoosiers keep the bases loaded with 1 out and bring them closer within 1 run, 7-6.
And now you have Philip Glasser, who's had a terrific day. 2 hits, he's reached 3 times today, and I mentioned it his last at bat, coming back from a finger injury, been out for nearly a month. He's been red hot at the plate ever since he's came back. Really been one of the quiet leaders of this team and the exact guy you want in this situation. He learned about this in the 8th inning. Their woes in doing that. They had the bases loaded with nobody out in the 8th. Failed to, Glasser takes a first pitch low. They had taken a 1-run lead, but they failed to score any more runs. And that ended up costing the Hoosiers in the top of the 9th when Kyle Bork hit a go-ahead 2-run homer. That was the Sunday finale against Minnesota just a couple days ago.
Right now, a 1-0 count. Seems like umpire gives the all clear. Pitch is away. Once again, that slider keeps going across the box and hitting that same spot for another ball. Now a little discussion happening on the field. Looks like they're going to talk to their pitcher.
I'd imagine you want to bring in a guy. I mentioned he only had 5 walks on the season that you think has good command. Because the bases are loaded, you don't want to just walk guys in. And unfortunately for Steve Holm and Artie Spees, that's exactly what happened. And who knows, we could see Illinois State's 8th pitcher before the end of this game. That's JP. Seen 6 straight balls. Look at that beautiful sky. Include this Tuesday evening. What a great shot from our BTN Plus crew.
They're going to call that one a strike. 2-1 count. So your Glasser, you just saw your first strike here. Now do you start thinking in the back of your head, all right, maybe I need to swing at this one?
You certainly consider it, but I think even then you're pretty conservative being ahead 2-1.
He goes swinging there, 2-2. Hoosiers would love to get another run in before big hitter Carter Matheson walks up to the plate. But it's in the hands of Glasser, the senior shortstop. Holcomb with the pitch. Tipped away, foul ball.
Mentioned Glasser, he almost never strikes out. No one else in the Indiana lineup. It's a qualified batter, has fewer strikeouts. So if nothing else here, you want to put the ball in play. You have great speed with Recrumba at third. Good enough hit, and who knows, the Hoosiers could take a lead. Bobby Whalen, who also has great speed at second.
That's ball's low. You mentioned the good eye by Glasser. There it is, full count. Bags loaded. Doesn't get much bigger than this, Griffin. His final home game. That'll be a walk. Hoosiers tie things up.
Just has to hurt if you're Illinois State. That's going to do it for Holcomb. You bring in a lefty to face two lefties in a row. He can't find his command, and man, you have 5 consecutive free passes given out, 4 walks, 1 hit batter, and just like that, the game is tied for a game Illinois State has controlled really the whole evening. IU is a sac fly away from taking a lead into the 9th.
And while he warms up, we're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere because we'll be right back. You're watching Big Ten Baseball on Big Ten Plus. Pressure most certainly on. First pitch away. Gets him swinging.
I will say, it's not like they're throwing a position player out there. It's not like Albert Pujols and the Cardinals a couple nights ago. I mean, this is, watching him warm up, this is clearly a guy who has pitched before, just hasn't been used this season, but this is now the 8th pitcher on the day for Illinois State. They're running out of arms.
That ball's a little outside, 1-1 count. He's definitely got some heat on it. 87 on that pitch right there.
We have seen 14 pitchers used today, Joe. I don't know what the record is in a D1 baseball game, but I don't know if we go to extras. I get close. They're going to be calling on us to come in pretty soon.
Do you think you could do it? Could you get one in the strike zone, Griffin?
I could get 1.
Out
Could
of
I get
many?
3? No.
Pitch is away and in the zone. 76, but still a strike. 1-2 count.
That was an interesting choice of a decision to call that a strike by Scott Inman.
Yeah, crowd didn't seem too happy about that one.
Matheson was up in this situation, bases loaded in the 8th inning against Minnesota late on Sunday night in that doubleheader, and he popped out to foul territory.
Yeah, all the Hoosiers really need right now is just a sacrificial fly, something to get more points on the board and secure the lead for the first time tonight.
Kind of seems hard to believe the way Illinois State has controlled this game throughout, that you can go into the 9th 3 outs away from winning. Bobby Whalen has stole home once before this season, and he was playing around a little bit, and I don't know what third base umpire Michael Ingram was singling something at Gauthier.
Pitch is outside, 2-2. Whalen is continually just kind of baiting the pitcher and making him second guess.
You want to provide some distraction, be aggressive. IU's tried to do that on the base pass all season.
There's another pitch that's away. You could definitely sense that Gauthier is a little bit thrown off with seeing Wayland starting to just sprint in the corner of his eye and not doing anything with it. You can see that big lead he has here. He's going to hit him with a little hesitation. Yeah. Wow, 3 strikes. Painted the outside there. That's a tough pill to swallow if you're Indiana with Carter Matheson hitless on the day. Last time we saw him at bat, he had a walk in the 7th. Another strike there.
That breaking ball's got some good bite to it.
Gauthier might not have the most heat on all of his pitches, but he's had more accuracy than a lot of these Redbird pitchers we've seen tonight.
Ryan Kraft, the lefty for Indiana, is warming up. He has been one of the top options for Indiana this year. Hoosiers would love to bring him in a safe situation, but they need to find a way to scratch across one more run.
They've already gotten 2 runs in these bases loaded situations this inning. They've been trying to bring them all home, but have been unable to so far. Now 2 outs, 2 strikes. Tippett's at the plate. And he crushes that one out to left field, but it veers just too far out of play. Foul ball. That one looked for a second like it was going to be a nice double and give the Hoosiers a little bit of breathing room.
Just a little late by Tibbetts from what would have been the go-ahead double. Might have even scored 3, but oh, he just missed that one.
Now Indiana back in the same situation. High pitch there, 1-2 count. Able to get a nice hit there, but can he get the run out? Safe! Brock Tibbetts with a base hit to give the Hoosiers the lead for the first time today.
Steve Holm came absolutely sprinting out of the dugout to first base umpire John Maliski. I mean, he was going full 100-meter dash.
I don't know who ran faster, the coach or Tibbetts. I mean, they were both gunning it to first base. But what a hit for Indiana. It's a base hit. They're able to bring 1 run home, and Matthew Ellis back up to the plate for Indiana. Still with bases loaded and 2 outs.
You'd love to get a little bit more insurance. 1 run wasn't enough in the 9th last game against Minnesota. Credit to Tibbetts, though. I mean, you think that's a routine grounder, but it was hit pretty softly. Cheng had to rush it, and Tibbetts went all out down the line. And it really was just a short throw by Cheng. I think if he doesn't bounce that, Tibbetts is probably out. But those little things make the difference between winning and losing. That might be the reason Indiana wins today.
Another ball there, 2-1 count. Still got to be careful with your balls and make sure you're being accurate here. It's a big reason that we're seeing Gauthier in here. Another strike, 2-2 count. Ellis here needs to be smart with his batting. And Ellis crushes that one, and it could be gone. It's going, it's going. It's out of here. A grand slam for Indiana. Wow! What a hit by Matthew Ellis. Crushed it for his 17th home run of the year. He's sending it to Ellis Island. I mean, you can hear the reaction from the crowd here in Bloomington. The fans are loving it. What a play there from Matthew Ellis and Indiana capitalizing here. Griffin, you said it. The 8th is their inning, and they had 7 runs this inning.
Yeah, he's gone. And the police officer, I don't know what he's going to do to him, but I'm glad I'm not Steve Holm right now.
He'll find his way out of this ballpark, and maybe he'll see that ball on his way out.
Frustrating night for Illinois State. They started this game off so well. IU didn't have a hit through the first 3 innings, controlled the game. We would have gone to the 9th with a tie game if not for a bang-bang play at first. Brock Tibbetts was called safe, but we did see the replay. It really did look like the right call. It was a softly hit ground ball, and Luke Cheng bounced it in front of Jake McCaw, and it looked like Tibbetts ran it out. And then that grand slam by Ellis, pretty much putting a bow on this one.
Dones watches that one all the way through, 3-0 count.
We have seen it all tonight, which was bound to happen. What has been a just wild, crazy Indiana baseball season. We were bound to see the game end essentially with a position player pitching in a tie ball game. We have had 14 different pitchers used. IU has 12 runs, yet they only have 8 hits.
It has been a wild game. And on the inverse of that, Illinois State, as Dones popped that one up, and it'll likely seal off this 8th inning. Yeah, as you mentioned, Indiana, 12 runs, 8 hits. Illinois State, 7 runs, 15 hits.
A lot over this last month of the season. Found a way somehow, even if they haven't been the better team today, to win.
Now Indiana just trying to find a way to close it out. And they found more success on the mound in the last 2 innings than they have all game long. They've had a back-to-back innings of no runs allowed when they went on or Illinois State went on a 4-inning stretch of at least 2 runs every time out there. Now we sit with a 0-2 count. Kraft pitching. That one's a little too far inside, 1-2 count.
And Ryan Kraft is a guy that you'll likely see this weekend in Iowa City, and they probably thought, hey, we got a close game. We want to potentially bring him in for the save, but Matthew Ellis' grand slam took out any chance of that.
And Kraft gets Nichols go down swinging. A guy that's been so hot today. Things just seem like they're falling apart right in front of the Redbirds' eyes.
It's our last broadcast of the year here at IU and on Big Ten Plus. And before we go, I just want to recognize all the hardworking men and women behind the scenes that have made everything go over this last year. Guile takes a first pitch high. You know, well, we get to be the stars on the broadcast, but we're so lucky because we have the best production crew in the Big Ten. And it's not even close. And I was actually talking to AD Scott Dolson a couple weeks ago when he was here at the ball game, and he said, you know, we know it and we hear it from other schools too.
Yeah.
IU's BTN broadcasts are the best in the Big Ten, and it's because of everyone that's in the truck running the cameras, our A1 sound graphics. I mean, it's an incredible production. IU's radio TV services does such a great job putting it together. And when we can have broadcasts like this, it's truly a gift for us as broadcasters.
It's unbelievable. I mean, you said it. It's been a privilege working with these guys, and it's just so seamless every time. And without them, I think it'd be a heck of a lot more chaotic.
Yeah, no, it's a great job. Our director tonight, Anthony McLean, our TD, Charlie Gifford, everyone on this great crew. So many more people go behind it than you think.
And another strikeout there for Indiana as Kraft is putting the nail in that coffin for this one.
I have to thank Dr. Galen Clavio, of course, too. He's spearheaded so much of the IU Sports Media program, both behind the scenes and in front of the camera. And the reason there are so many terrific broadcasters that get to call these games as well is in big reason to him and in recruiting some of the top talents in the country and developing them as well. And we're so lucky, Joe, to be able to work with so many talented individuals day in and day out. And it's been a great year. Some really memorable moments on Big Ten Plus and with fans back and a full production. It's been a long road back, but it's really been special to be a part of it, and special that we get to close it out. What a wild one to finish the year.
I mean, you couldn't have said it any better. It's just an unbelievable experience, an unbelievable opportunity here, and we're very thankful to every single person that helps make it possible for us here at Indiana. And it just allows us to call games like this one. As we approach the end, 2-2 count, 2 outs. Indiana leads 12-7. Gauthier at the plate. Kraft trying to close him down. And I call that one a ball. Full count. I think the bench was about to erupt on the Indiana. And he goes down swinging. Indiana closes out a incredible comeback where they trailed all game long until the bottom of the 8th, where they had bases loaded time after time again, and it was just sealed off by a Matthew Ellis grand slam. Griffin, unbelievable game.